In this video, I am going to show you how to use the pen tool. So let's go over and create a letter size. Okay, and I'm just going to close a few of these things. Right, and the only thing I want on is my tools and my layers, so I have those out there. Alright, so the pen tool. The pen tool allows you to draw shapes. Okay, so if you take a look at your rectangle tool and you draw a rectangle, you'll see that when I click on it, you'll see that the rectangle is made up of some anchor points. Okay, so I'm just gonna click away. Okay, I'm gonna click on this direct selection tool. That's what I'm trying to do. So using a direct selection tool, this is your regular selection tool. And this one here is your direct selection tool. So using your direct selection tool, just click on one corner of your rectangle. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in. Alright, so you can see that there's a little square there that's called an anchor point, an anchor. Okay, so this rectangle is made up of 4 anchor points. 3, 4. And with your direct selection tool, you can select each one of these points. So I'm going to select one point. When it's selected, it is in blue. You can see the rest is not colored in blue. It's white inside. So when it's selected, I can click and drag it. Okay, so it's now no longer a rectangle, or rather it's a trapeze or something like that. Okay, so it's an odd shape now. So what I wanted to show you was that shapes are all created by anchor points, and the pen tool allows you to create anchor points. Okay, so I'm just going to select this whole rectangle and then delete it. So let's now go to our pen tool here. Okay, so with the pen tool, you can click once, that drops an anchor point. Lift your finger off your mouse. Do not click and drag. Okay, so lift your finger off your mouse, move your mouse. And when you move it, there's a line that seems to follow it. This is your path, okay? So the path goes from one anchor point to another anchor point. So I'm going to click somewhere else now on my page. Okay, now I dropped another anchor point. So every time I click, I drop an anchor point. And I click again. And now I'm going to go back to the beginning, okay? Which is my first anchor point. When I go back to my beginning, there is that circle that I see beside my pen. If it's not in the beginning, I don't see that circle. So now there's that circle, so I'm going to click now. So now that is a complete shape. I always want to complete my shapes. I always want to make a full loop, okay? So yours might look different than mine. The reason is because your color might be different. Mine was white, okay? So I'm just going to show you what happens if as you're drawing a shape. So I'm going to choose green here with no stroke, no outline. Okay, so I'm going to go and draw with my pen tool this triangle again. So as I'm drawing, it looks like my triangle is complete, right? Because you can see the whole triangle. But it's actually not complete because I haven't gone to the beginning yet. Okay, so if you take a look, right? If you take a look, you can see that the stroke only goes on the 2 sides. I need to go back to the beginning to close that. And even now, I did a really poor job closing it. When I zoom in, it's actually not closed. It's very close to it, but it's not closed. Okay, so I need to go and close that. Oh, I'm having trouble here. So only when there's a circle, now then it's closed. Okay. So I have created some extra points here that I don't really want. So to do that, to get rid of those points, I can go to Delete Anchor Point tool. So hold your mouse over your pen tool. You'll see an Add Anchor Point tool and Delete Anchor Point tool. I'd like you to go and delete those. Okay, so now I only have 3 points instead of something that looks really messy. All right, now I want to move around in here, so I'm going to press spacebar and drag with my mouse over. All right, so let's try this exercise again. Let's delete everything. Go to your pen tool. I'd like you to please draw a star. So go. And don't worry if your fill makes everything look strange. It's just trying to guess what shape you're trying to draw. So the fill doesn't matter until your loop has been closed. Okay, there we go. Now it looks a bit strange, so I am going to use my direct selection tool and move some of these around. Okay. So with the direct selection tool, you can click on an anchor point and then move it around so it looks less strange. Okay. Now I actually decided that I want this to only have 4 arms. I don't want this to be a 5-sided star. I want it to have only 4 sides to it, which will make it look strange, but that's what I want. So I'm going to go here to pen tool and delete anchor points. Okay. Go. There you go. So now I have 4 points, and then I'm going to move it around. Okay, there you go. And then move that around and move that around. Right, so I actually need to add another anchor point right over here. So to add an anchor point, I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to go here, add anchor point, and click over here on the line. It has to be on the path. Okay, so I just zoom in to show you. It has to be on the path. And then I'm going to click, and there we go. It's been entered. Okay, so now I can drag this point over like so, and like so. There we go. So there's one 4-sided star here. I'm going to use my selection tool and move it over. Okay. So the next thing I like you to do is to draw a house. So to draw a house, you can start out with a rectangle. Okay. And then let's change the color of that house to maybe a brown. All right. And then I'd like you to draw a red roof on top of it. Okay, so let's draw a red roof on top of it. And I'm going to click away from everything first and then draw. Okay, because sometimes it kind of starts connecting with things that I've drawn before if I don't click away from it. Here we go. And then I'm going to use my pen tool. I'm going to draw one click here, 2 over there, and then I see I have these guidelines that show up. This shows me where the middle of my square is, which is nice. And now it looks like it's complete, but it's actually not. So I'm going to go to the very beginning and complete it when I see the circle. And now I can have some fun. I go to this, I change my stroke a bit, I make it a bit thicker, same as here. Oh, and I like my stroke to be actually black. Here we go, and the same here. I'm also going to change my stroke so it looks more fun, and also change that to black. Go. And I'm going to make this a bit smaller. Okay, so what else can we draw here? I guess I can draw a tree. Okay, so there we go. That's one shape, and then I can draw another shape. And I like this shape to be brown. Okay. Brown here. And in my layers, I can move that trunk of my tree back there. Okay. Move the star up here, and then I can also draw some grass at the bottom, and so on. So what I like you to do is just to kind of finish off your drawing with, whatever you can draw with your pen tool, and then go to File, Export, Export As, Activity 1, JPEG, okay, and submit this as Activity 1.